What is the best print-on-demand company for Shopify in 2022? Let's find out. Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to the channel. And if you're brand new here and we don't know each other, my name's Kerry. I'm the founder of Shirt School, and I created this channel to bring you the best strategies, secrets, and hacks to grow your online t-shirt, apparel, or print-on-demand business. Today, we're gonna compare the top 8 print-on-demand companies in the Shopify App Store. Now, I literally went to the Shopify App Store, I sorted by most installed, and these were the top 8 that came up. The goal of this video is to help you pick the right print-on-demand provider for you. I'm gonna be judging them on things like pricing and product selection, shipping cost, and shipping times. And I'm also just gonna give you some of my personal knowledge from working with many of these companies over the last 5 years, and also helping thousands of students who use these companies and seeing their experiences. The 8 companies we're gonna be taking a look at today are Printful, Printify, T-Launch, SPOD, Appleak, Custom Cat, Guten, and Gelato. The last thing I want to say before diving into the companies is that this video is not sponsored by any print-on-demand companies, and I have not received any compensation to make this video. The first company you might consider working with, and by far the biggest print-on-demand company, is Printful. So let's start with them. Now, Printful has a pretty big product selection. They have a lot of really cool products. You're gonna see things like your Gildan t-shirts, Bell and Canvas. You'll see Next Level. But then even in the t-shirt category, you see some really cool stuff like this oversized tie-dye t-shirt. If we scroll down here, we see a unisex denim t-shirt, which is really cool. Even in just the t-shirt category, there are a few t-shirts that you might not find in other places. Under t-shirts, you see there are almost every different kind of t-shirt that you can find. You've got all over print, which means you can print all over the entire t-shirt. Your polos, tank tops, 3/4 sleeves. They've got a lot of stuff. We can click on jackets and we'll see that they offer a few different kinds of jackets. You've got zipper bomber jackets, really cool stuff here. Even bottoms, which is something that isn't offered by a lot of print-on-demand companies. You don't see this very often, but they offer leggings, long shorts, you see fleece sweatpants, even underwear, which is pretty crazy. So that's kind of just the men's clothing. We can go to women's clothing. You're gonna see a lot of options there. Some things that kind of stick out to me are maybe dresses. It's pretty cool that they offer, a t-shirt, a few different t-shirt dresses, a few different types of things there. They even offer, bathing suits, which is really cool. Let's go and take a look at the hats really quick, because you're gonna see things like beanies and tie-dye beanies. You got dad hats, even bucket hats. That would be one of the benefits of Printful. You're not only gonna get a huge product selection, but you're gonna get not only some odd products, but you're gonna see that they're going to continue to add products as they increase in popularity, or new products just become available. You'll see that Printful will add those continually. Printify is also a massive print-on-demand company. Now, one difference between Printify and Printful is that Printify uses a network of printers, and they just tap into all these different printers, and you can select which printer that you want to use, which company you want to print your stuff. And what that allows Printify to do is it allows them to have that massive product selection. So as we take a look at t-shirts, you're going to see obviously a lot of the same players that you would see on Printful, like the Bell and Canvas, the Next Level, the Gildan, the Hanes, those kind of things. But then again, you're going to see some unique things to Printify, like this baseball jersey, which is all over print, a really cool item to sell. You see a Comfort Colors tie-dye t-shirt that is really cool. And you just see a lot of different things here. More tie-dye, cyclone tie-dye. This one's really cool, the curved hem tee. So you see a lot of really unique products there. Now, as we go up here to the catalog, boom, you see they have a huge selection, very similar to Printful. There's a lot to go through here. We're not gonna go through everything. One thing that I want to take a look at, the eco-friendly. This is something I'm asked about a lot, is which print-on-demand providers offer eco-friendly options. And you see here that Printify is going to be one of those companies that has a few different eco-friendly options. They have candles, which is one that I haven't seen in many print-on-demand providers, so that's really cool. Camping mug. Let's go to a few more of the more obscure categories. You're going to see things here like bottoms, like you would see on Printful. Let's click that real quick. You see a few different options for bottoms, which is fairly unique. We go to women's. Let's go to swimwear again and see kind of how they stack up. Not quite as many options as Printful when you look at a category like this. Let's look at skirts and dresses to kind of see that same thing. You see t-shirt dress. You see some products that aren't offered on Printful, like this skater skirt here. Let's go over to face masks as we did with Printful and see. So, pretty good selection of face masks here. I would probably go with the Printful selection because I saw things like Champion and some really unique, cool brands. These are a little bit more generic. You see even here it just says generic brand. Not a bad selection, but nothing you're really going to recognize there. And then let's take a look at some of the more obscure. So we've got kitchen accessories, pets, pillows and covers, blankets, towels, magnets and stickers, tons of stuff here. You go to ornaments. You're going to have Christmas ornaments on there. Let's take a look at just a few more of these categories. Let's go to kitchen accessories. You've got apron, a pot holder with a pocket, tons of really cool stuff here. Ice bucket with tongs. So they've got a lot of product. Very big product selection. A lot of products you're not going to find anywhere else, even on Printful. And so you can see here how, you could build a very unique store selling products that you're not going to find a lot of places by using something like Printful or Printify. So overall, Printful and Printify, very, very big product selection. You're going to see these are going to be among the biggest of the companies that we'll look at. Next up, we're taking a look at T-Launch. This is the third biggest print-on-demand company in the Shopify App Store. And they also have a pretty good selection of products, but it's not going to compare to Printful and Printify. They do have some unique items of their own that you may not find on Printful and Printify, but overall the selection is not going to be as big. Let's start off with apparel. You're going to see here a lot of the usual suspects that you would see on any of the other print-on-demand providers under apparel. You're going to see the Gildans, the Next Levels, the Bell & Canvas again. But one thing I want to point out is, they offer district tees, which I personally really like because they come in at a really good price and they are similar quality to some of the mid-tier t-shirts. Not the greatest t-shirt by any means, but it's definitely softer and fits a little better, in my opinion, than some of the cheaper t-shirts. So as we scroll down here again, a lot of the same stuff. Next Level, long sleeve Next Level. Nothing too crazy here. Crew neck sweatshirt that's kind of unbranded, probably going to be like a Gildan, something along those lines. I do like the 3/4 Raglan t-shirt here, but you're going to be able to find that on any of the other ones that we're talking about for the most part. So under apparel, it's very basic. There's not really much that sticks out here under the apparel that's like unique per se. Now, if we take a look at some of their other products, drinkware is a pretty big one. You've got some really cool stuff here like an acrylic tumbler, insulated water bottle, tons of cool stuff, right? Some kind of Yeti style cups here that you can print on. So that is really cool and pretty unique to find. You got your standard mugs here, full color mugs, magic mugs, they change colors. And let's go through just a few more here. Let's take a look at accessories, Christmas ornaments, power banks. So you may find a few products in T-Launch that you might not find in Printify or Printful, but overall their product selection is just not going to be quite as big. Now, I think for most stores, it's going to be more than sufficient, but you want to consider that. If you're wanting a huge product selection, you might want to take a look at the Printful or Printify. Hey, if you're enjoying this video today and you're getting value out of it, would you do me a huge favor and just hit that like button? It takes about 1 second and it's completely free to do, but it helps me out so much. It'll tell YouTube this is a good video and push it out to more people. SPOD, and I can tell you right off the bat, I have quite a bit of experience with SPOD, and I love some of at least the t-shirt and apparel options that they have. They have some really cool stuff here, maybe slightly more higher end. So again, a lot of the same things you're gonna see. Fruit of the Loom, Next Level, Bell & Canvas, all those kind of things. One thing to point out here is they offered their own company's t-shirt called Spreadshirt. SPOD stands for Spreadshirt Print on Demand, and so they have their own line of t-shirts that they manufacture under this Spreadshirt brand. And in my experience, they're pretty solid. They're pretty solid t-shirts. Some of the things I want to point out: long body urban tee. And as we scroll down, you'll see tie-dye t-shirt, the baseball t-shirt. They've got some cool stuff, so get ready for it. The ringer tee here, the American flag sleeves. This one right here, the vintage sport t-shirt. Again, just to point out some of the cool apparel products they have. I bumped over to hoodies, and we see like this shawl collar hoodie, which is really cool. I love this lightweight terry hoodie. They have some really cool stuff, and like I said, maybe a little more higher end. Now, as we go a little bit further here, we can click on eco-friendly. That was one we talked about earlier. They only offer one eco-friendly t-shirt, right? So not a lot of options for eco-friendly, but you do see some cool stuff here. Pajamas, we'll click on that and kind of see what they have. Just one set of unisex pajamas. Big and tall, which is very unique. They offer a few big and tall t-shirts. So as we go down here, let's take a look. We've got women. We've been taking a look at that. We do have plus size down here, which is really cool. Let's go to sportswear, see what we see here. We see one set of leggings, two sets of leggings, nothing too crazy there. Let's take a look at dresses because we've kind of been looking at that. We have one t-shirt dress here and then the independent training hoodie dress. So already we can see, although SPOD has some really cool products, not going to even be close to the three companies that we've already seen. As we go to accessories, we do have what looks like a pretty big selection here. Clicking on face masks, we see a few different options for face masks. Let's go to a few more here. Let's look at socks, because that's one we haven't really looked at. Just one pair of ankle socks, so not much to go with there. Taking a look at hats, we only have 3 hats. So they're showing a lot of categories, but overall, we're just not seeing a lot of products in these categories. So far, SPOD is going to have the smallest product selection that we've seen, but I do like their products. And as I said, some of the items are maybe a little more high end than some of just your standard products you would find on Printful and Printify. That's not to say you can't find high end products on Printful and Printify, but I do like some of the specialty products that SPOD offers, and I've used them in the past and been pretty satisfied. Now, AppLeak really positions themselves as a more branded, a more customizable experience, maybe a little bit more high end. They want to be seen as a higher end fulfillment company. And so what they're going to offer is they're going to offer, special print placement, in odd places. They're going to offer custom embroidered tags and, tags that can go on the hem of your t-shirt. Those kind of things, right? They're going to offer some of those things that you wouldn't see. You can even do t-shirts that are custom embroidered. Where on most print-on-demand companies, if they offer embroidery, it's just going to be on like a baseball cap, and many of them don't even offer that. So AppLeak, you're going to see a ton of options. We can scroll for quite a while, and as we go down, you do see some cool things. A crop tee from Bella in canvas, which is fairly popular, right? You see a baseball tee here. As we scroll down, we'll see some flannel t-shirts. They have options where you can have a custom sewn pocket onto any t-shirt, which is really interesting. See the striped tee, the camo tee. So some really cool stuff here. As we go up, we can thumb on this products button, and you're going to see quite a bit of stuff here. We don't see much, if anything, that's really outside of apparel. So let's take a look at some of these categories. Let's go to their hats and see what they offer under hats. So you see pretty big selection, right? Pretty cool hats, lots of camo, lots of different styles. So again, they're focused on that premium branded clothing as opposed to some of the more just general print-on-demand products like we've seen so far. We can go to eco-friendly. We're going to see that they offer, a hemp baseball cap, organic recycled hat, and then some eco-friendly options here for t-shirts. You can even go under brands and see, most of their brands that they're offering here. Some of these brands are not offered anywhere else. When you go to like independent trading company, I know from just experience, this is higher end stuff that they're offering here. Dyed fleece shorts, black camo. I think I own a pair of those shorts and I love them actually. They're not printed on, but I ordered a pair wholesale and I love those. But duffel bags, right? Independent duffel bags, the crop top. So lots of really, really cool stuff. I would say overall, AppLeak has a really good product selection, but it's going to be mainly focused, if not all focused, on just apparel. And you're going to see some higher end stuff that you wouldn't find other places. And you're going to, be able to get that more branded experience. If it's important for you to have a custom tag in the back or things like that, AppLeak is going to be a company that you definitely want to pay attention to. We're going to take a look at custom Custom Cat's going to be, again, a more general kind of print-on-demand company. They're not trying to do what AppLeak is doing or really even what SPOD is doing. They're just trying to be a really solid print-on-demand company. When we look at their products, possibly the smallest selection of products that we've seen. They really don't offer a ton. So when we go under accessories here, you see bags, footwear, jewelry, and miscellaneous. When we go under apparel, now we'll say, when we go to apparel, we look at something like t-shirts. They do have a pretty robust selection of t-shirts, and even a few things that you might not find other places. If we keep going through here, you'll kind of see what I mean. I believe they offer some work shirts and polos, different stuff like that. If we can find it here, we're going to 5. So if we go down here to like button up, right? We go to button up, you see, this is like a Dickies kind of work shirt. Pretty cool, fairly unique. So they do have some cool stuff. We go to jackets, you're going to see these are some things you probably aren't seeing on most of these other print-on-demand providers. But overall, probably the smallest selection, and they're not going for any kind of unique category. They're just trying to be a solid overall product selection and have coverage on most of the common print-on-demand products that you would want, right? Blankets is pretty cool. That's pretty cool. All of our print blankets, towels, wall art. But I think so far, if we're just talking about having the most selection, they're going to be one of the smaller ones for product selection. Gelato has all kinds of different products. Let's start by taking a look at their t-shirts, as we've kind of been doing. And again, you're going to see a lot of the same players, because Gildan 64,000. You're going to see the Bell and Canvas, organics. That's nice to see, as we've been looking at kind of our eco-friendly polycotton unisex crewneck t-shirt. So, but not a big selection, right? We go to t-shirts and we just see really just a couple options there. Nothing too crazy. 3/4 sleeve t-shirts. We'll see what we have here. We just have one. Okay, we go to organic. Let's see if we've got anything else under organic other than just those couple. So we've got, a t-shirt, a pullover hoodie, zip hoodie, and crew neck, which isn't too bad. Let's take a look at some of the other categories here. Mugs is a common one. So we see a few different types of mug. We've got a color-changing mug. We've got a porcelain slim mug. That's one we probably haven't seen anywhere else. Travel mug, which is really cool. Now, I think where Gelato is really going to stand out are some of this stationary type stuff or wall art and those kind of things. I think that's kind of where they specialize in a little bit. So we take a look at something like these photo books. I think is going to be a really cool product to consider. Let's see what they've got under hard. So we got soft cover and hard cover. We go to cards. You're going to see things under cards that are probably pretty unique. Let's click here and see what we see under this. So we see pack of 10 folded cards, which is really cool. Two-sided, some stuff there. And then we got things like calendars, which is, I think that's pretty cool. I think it's a pretty cool, unique product to sell. If we go to stationery and business, that's where you'll see some additional cool stuff. And they also do a really good job, like I said, with wall art. You got posters, frame posters, canvas art, lots of cool stuff. So I think if that's what you're looking for, if you're wanting to do mainly apparel, this probably isn't the company that you want to go with, although I think they can do apparel just fine. They're just not going to have a huge selection. But if you're wanting to go with some of these other kind of stationary type things, again, photo books, calendars, wall art, canvas art, I think this is a solid option. And one thing we'll talk about a little bit later is the network that Gelato has for printing, where they can print all around the world, which is a unique benefit. But just looking at product selection, it's okay, but it's probably the smallest or close to the smallest that we've seen so far. It's one of the smaller product selections that we've looked at. We're taking a look at Guten, and I want to give you kind of a word of warning with Guten is they only work with sellers who already have some sales built up. They don't work with brand new print-on-demand sellers. So we will take a look at everything that we have access to. We don't have access to things like pricing for them because you actually need to be, a member with them. But we can take a look at their products. And I don't have really any experience with Guten, but right off the bat, looking at just their apparel products, I think it looks pretty awesome. It's got some cool stuff. See like a tie-dye pullover. You see scrunchies, a crop top t-shirt. So already we see a few cool things here just under apparel. So as we keep going through, snapback caps, we got scarves, which is cool, buttons, pajamas. So some cool products that you may not find in other places. I think Guten is trying to position themselves as a little bit of a higher end print-on-demand provider. In their one of the ways that they're doing that is by only working with established print-on-demand or established sellers. Neckties, that's one you don't see very often. We see a pullover dress. Ooh, I like that wave wash. Lots of cool stuff here. Let's go back to their products because I want to see what else they offer because we're just looking at apparel here. Watch straps. Let's look at the categories. Let's go to accessories. So we see phone cases, clutch bags, gamer mouse pad. Let's go into stationery and see what they've got there. All right, so we got Kiss Cut stickers. I really like cutout stickers. Those are really cool. Wall calendars. Looks like it's missing a photo there. Notebooks. Pretty cool stuff. I think it's a pretty solid product selection. Maybe not the biggest, but probably not the smallest. I think overall, pretty decent product selection. Next up, let's compare the pricing of these 8 print-on-demand companies. And to keep it as simple as possible, we're just gonna stick to t-shirts, and I'll kind of give you my thoughts as we go. First off, let's take a look at Printful, and we're gonna try to match up these brands as much as possible and kind of take a look. So we see like the Gildan Heavyweight 5000 here, it's at $11.95. We see the Bell & Canvas 3001 at $12.95. Now this $12.95 is not the worst price I've seen on the Bell & Canvas, but for something like a Gildan 5000, this is extremely high. Now this one is all over print, so we don't really want to take a look at that. But if we go down here, the Gildan 64,000 soft style t-shirt, which isn't bad, is at $8.95, which is a pretty decent price for that t-shirt. Gildan 2000 at $12.95 is very high. So we could continue to go, but overall, next level 3600, $14.50, which is really high. Overall, Printful is going to come in probably quite a bit more expensive than most of the other print-on-demand providers. And we can continue to go through here, and we're going to see that the prices are pretty high, and I think you'll agree as we go through these companies. Next, let's take a look at Printify, and you're going to notice right off the bat, Printify is going to be a lot cheaper. Now, the reason for that is because when we click on a t-shirt, let's click on this 3001, you're going to see that they have a bunch of different print providers, and you can actually select which one that you want to work with. And what they do is they allow these print providers to set their own pricing. And so that what that creates is kind of a marketplace where all of these print providers are really competing for your business. And what that means is they've got to kind of lower their price or, have competitive pricing, or no one will pick them, right? So they're kind of all competing for your business. And so as we scroll through here on Printify, you see all the print providers and you see the pricing right here, $921, $1043, $875. So it's going to vary. Now, the lowest that you're going to find, if we go through here, this is on the Bell & Canvas 3001. I think it shows us on the previous page. You see 882 there, the Dream Dunction at 917. You also want to pay attention to the countries because there are print providers that are in other countries on here. So you want to make sure you're looking at your country. There's a lot to kind of sort through here, right? Let's just go back and let's take a look here. So you see, this kind of shows you the cheapest price that you would get. So $779 on the Gildan 5000, $875 on that Bell & Canvas. And you see as we go through here, you see the pricing. So there's a Delta t-shirt, it's $845. These are the cheapest price that you can find. Next level 3600, $937. So you see there, you're talking about $5 cheaper than you would get on Printful. Now, one more thing I want to make sure that you know is Printify offers a premium plan, and that's going to give you a pretty hefty discount on these prices as well. I believe it runs $29.99 per month, something around there, and that's going to give you a pretty big discount. Again, that's going to drop some of these prices. You see this one is almost half with Printify Premium, $4.36. You see like on the Bell & Canvas, you save a little over $1, but there's multiple options. If you're doing even 20 or 30 orders per month, probably worth it to upgrade to that premium plan, and that's going to give you some of the best pricing that you're going to see anywhere. And the cool thing is the pricing you're going to get on Printful is on Printify. The pricing you're going to get on Printify is already going to be among the cheapest because of their business model, but when you go to that premium plan, it really separates them kind of from the rest. Let's take a look at T-Launch. They make it a little bit harder for us to find out the pricing. We're actually going to need to click on these products to find out. So we've got the district tee, which I mentioned before, and that's going to come in at $10.50. I think that's actually a little bit high for the district tee, just kind of knowing the quality and everything about it. I think that's probably a little bit more than I would want to pay, but they are one of the few print-on-demand providers that actually offers that tee. Let's go to the next level men's t-shirt, which is going to be kind of a standard, probably a 3600. That one's going to come in at $11.75 to $14.75. That's going to depend on whether you're doing a tri-blend or a standard or a heather color here. So that's a little bit lower than Printful would come in. I don't think it's going to compare really to what Printify had to offer in terms of pricing. Let's look at one more to see, and I'm going for kind of just a standard t-shirt. So here's a Gildan's men's t-shirt. One thing that they do here on T-Launch is they really don't tell you specifically what model they're shipping out. So it's hard to compare. But on this Gildan t-shirt, you're going to see it's at $8.50. Quite a bit better than Printful, and that's probably about on par with Printify. So I think T-Launch is going to be, they're probably not going to be the cheapest, and they're not going to be the most expensive. They're going to fall in the middle somewhere as far as their pricing. Taking a look at SPOD, and again, they're probably going to fall in that middle ground, right? They're not going to be the most expensive. They're not going to be the cheapest. Here is your Spreadshirt, which is something that only SPOD is going to offer. That's going to come in at $10.79. You see there's quite a few colors available for that. When we take a look at some of the more common t-shirts, like the Bell and Canvas, is going to come in at $11.16. Again, quite a bit cheaper than Printful, not as cheap as Printify, right? Probably in that same range as something like T-Launch. So we go down here to something like the Gildan 2000 or even the Hanes 5250. These prices here, a little bit more than I would want to pay for these t-shirts. I think for me, I would pay the extra $1 or $2 and get up to a nicer t-shirt like a Bell and Canvas 3001 or a Next Level. So again, their pricing is going to fall kind of in the middle. Not going to be the most expensive, not going to be the cheapest. Next up, taking a look at AppLeak, and I just want to tell you right off the bat that I cannot understand AppLeak's pricing on their website. I'm just a regular guy, and I don't really understand it. The reason for that, I think, is because they have so many different options that they offer for printing. So let's click on one of these and I'll show you what I mean. I'm going to go down and find the Bell & Canvas 3001 because that's the one I'm most familiar with and I use kind of in the most stores. And as we look at it here, they offer like the custom pocket and they offer all of these different options. If we scroll down to the pricing, you'll kind of see what I mean. Now, if we look at, digital print for dropship, it says $10.49. My assumption would be that would be the pricing if you're going to do print on demand and you're going to just do kind of a, front print. It gets a little bit confusing because you see kind of like bulk pricing, right? You see if you order 10, it actually goes up, which is such an odd thing to me because if one is $10.49, why would 10 be $16.20? It is cool that they offer the bulk pricing, but it's just the pricing is kind of odd. Now, it's also cool that you can order things like screen printed t-shirts. You can actually order those from AppLeak. You can do the pocket tee. You can do some of these different things, embroidery on your t-shirts, which is really cool. A couple other things to note here is they have an $11 per file digitization fee that you've got to pay when you upload your artwork. Right, and so when I did a review of AppLeak on my channel, and I did a full review of a lot of these print-on-demand companies. What I thought I was going to pay was not actually what they charged me, and so my overall impression of AppLeak is, although I love some of the options that they offer, I think that the user interface, the user experience of their app, their website, it's very confusing and it's pretty difficult to use. I think they're definitely a company that you want to pay attention to if you want some of these custom, like we said, woven labels, those private labels, embroidery. They're definitely a company you want to pay attention to. There is just a bit of a learning curve to really figure this thing out. You're probably going to want to do some test orders and play with it quite a bit to get a good feel. Now, overall, again, pricing, it's really, really hard for me to tell. I think if you're just doing a basic front print on a t-shirt, they're probably going to be somewhat competitive, maybe a little bit on the high end. If you start adding on all of these different options, custom pocket, woven label, that price is going to skyrocket. It's going to be expensive to do that kind of stuff. But if you're offering those kind of products, you're going to be charging a premium. So it may end up being a good deal in the end. If you're offering a super branded t-shirt, you're probably going to want to offer that at $35 or $40. And so it's hard for me to get a good idea of what the margins are going to be on something like that by just looking at their website and not actually setting up a full product. Custom Cat is going to be on the lower end of the pricing scale to maybe that middle on most products. If we look at, the 3001C, you'll see $963 to $1363. It's a beefy t-shirt at $1082. That's quite a bit more than I'd want to pay for that t-shirt. Let's see if we can find some more of those common ones. An Anvil 980 at $912. That's pretty good. That's kind of right in line with where you'd want that tee. So again, they're going to be somewhat on the lower end to kind of that middle of the road, similar to an SPOD or a T-Launch. Kind of not the cheapest, but probably close to the cheapest, but not the most expensive. They do also offer a premium plan that you might want to look at that will give you a discount on these products. It's not something that they advertise very much or very well. They don't really tell you about it, but they do offer a tier up. I believe it starts at $4.99 per month where you can actually get some discounts on these products. So that might be something to take a look at. Here's something that's very interesting about Gelato. Gelato has fulfillment centers that will print your products all over the world. That's a huge benefit of Gelato. It means that if I'm in the US and I sell products in Australia, that product can be printed in Australia and sent to my customer very quickly, okay? So that's a huge benefit. Gelato's got a really big network of fulfillment centers all across the globe. But what's interesting about their website is that I can't really compare the pricing for them because they're showing everything in, European money. And so they are actually based in Europe as far as where their main offices are, I guess, main staff. But again, they have quite a few United States fulfillment centers. And I can tell on their website that they're recognizing that I'm in the United States, but they're not, I can't find pricing anywhere on here that will give me US dollar pricing. So if you want to go in and convert it, feel free, but I'm not really sure where that pricing is going to leave them. Now, I do know this. Once you install the app in your Shopify store and you actually go into that app, it will show you the US pricing. But as far as on their website here, I'm not seeing an easy way to switch it over to US pricing. It's just showing me this European pricing. Even when I go to full price list, again, it knows that I'm in the United States, but it won't give me that US pricing. Last is Guten, and since we're not a member with Guten, we don't actually have their pricing. They don't advertise it right here on their website. And I can tell you that one of the reasons for that is that Guten is going to offer you different pricing depending on how much you're selling in your Shopify store. I actually had a chance to talk to one of their reps at an event called Shirt Lab that I spoke at a few months ago. And they were very, very kind. Their rep was really cool, really good guy. But he explained to me, if you have a store that's doing, $5,000 a month in sales, and you have another store that's doing $50,000 a month in sales, that $50,000 a month store is going to get better pricing on their products than the $5,000 a month. So that's something to consider. Guten is going to have better pricing if you have more sales, but we don't have the data right here to show in this review. Next up, let's compare the shipping cost. This is a kind of a hard one to compare. Some of the companies don't publicly offer their shipping prices, but we'll do our best here to kind of show you the shipping among these companies. Starting out with Printful. Printful is going to be probably the easiest to understand. So we go right here to t-shirts, and you see in the USA, $3.99 for your first product and $1.50 for each additional product. That means that when your customer orders 2 t-shirts, the first one they will charge you $3.99, and because the second one is in that same package, you're going to only have to pay $1.50 on any additional products. And you see the difference in here to these other countries, which this pricing for international is very good, and that's because they have fulfillment centers kind of across the world. So let's take a look at a few more here. The hoodie is $6.99. It's really, really good. Really good for a hoodie. Overall, I think that their shipping is very reasonable and maybe one of the best that we're going to see, which is good because their pricing is a little bit higher. As we go down here, we see the highest we've really seen to the US is $9.99 for some of this stuff. Now, we will see probably on some of the heavier items, we might see a little bit higher shipping. $6.99 on mugs. Enamel mugs are only $3.99. That's kind of odd that enamel mugs are almost half the price of regular mugs. Let's see if we see anything else here. Beanbag cases, $6.99. So I think their shipping's pretty good overall, maybe beverage containers. So $9.99 on beverage containers. I think it's pretty good overall, and we'll see as we go through here. This might be one of the best ones. Now, a reminder that Printify uses all of these different print providers. So you can see the rates for any of these print providers. But one thing to keep in mind with Printify is they do have a huge product selection, but because they have all these different print providers, you're likely going to be paying a lot more shipping if customers are ordering, a bunch of these different products together, because they're going to be coming from different places. Some of the print-on-demand providers that we have on this list, they, when a customer orders two different products, they're coming from the same factory. So sometimes you can get those breaks in shipping. But with Printify, that's probably not going to be the case in most scenarios, unless your customer is ordering like two t-shirts together and they came from the same provider. Now, again, as we said earlier, these print-on-demand print providers inside Printful are going to set their own rates, right? So these can really be wide varying. If we take a look at something like My Locker, which is a common one that a lot of people who use Printify use, you see for t-shirts it's $4 and $2 for each additional item. Now it's a little bit more expensive than Printful was. Printful was at $1.50 for each additional item. But again, this will vary depending on the print provider that you use. So just be aware of that, and it probably would be wise if you're going to use Printify to really pay close attention when you're setting up the products to what the shipping cost is through each of those print providers. Next up, we've got T-Launch. I could not find it on their website. I don't think that they publicly make their shipping cost available, which is really a bummer, because I think that's something that people need to know before really getting in too deep with a print provider. They need to know pricing and they need to know shipping costs. And so I could not find that here on their website. Now, I do have some experience with T-Launch, and I think it's going to fall pretty competitive with what we've seen so far. For t-shirts, you're going to be looking at somewhere around $4 and $1 to $2 for those additional items. But unfortunately, we don't publicly have that available here. And so if we take a look at SPOD, now they have two different fulfillment centers. One's going to be in the US, and the other one is going to be in Europe. And they offer a few different types of shipping here. You see standard shipping, premium shipping, and express shipping. So we're looking at the United States, and we go down here and we see they do it based on the value of goods. So that is a little bit different. So they're doing it on basically the cost of your products that you're paying. So let's say your customer ordered a t-shirt that is under $13.51 your cost. That's going to cost you $4.51 to ship that out with standard shipping. If maybe they order something like a hoodie, which might be $13 to $24, that's going to be $6.35. So it's kind of an odd way to do it. Probably not my favorite. I like more of a flat rate style. Let's take a quick look at kind of premium, which is going to be just a little bit more, really not too bad compared to the standard shipping. And then we've got express, which is probably going to be much more expensive, which is going to be through FedEx. Now, one thing we don't see here is we don't see what the cost is for additional items. And I guess that's the reasoning for that, is because you can just add up. I'm realizing it as I'm telling you. You could just add up the cost. So let's say that your customer orders two t-shirts and the cost of those t-shirts is $10 a piece. Well, that's going to make it $20 in cost, which is going to be between $13.51 and $24.51. So that means it's going to be $6.35 to ship two t-shirts. So when you look at it that way, I think it's going to be a little bit more expensive than what we've seen so far. We want it to probably be somewhere in that $3.50 to $4 range for the first item, and then $1 to $2 for the second item. I think this is probably going to be one of the more expensive shipping costs when we kind of look at it that way. Next up, we're taking a look at App Leak. And again, just the same way that we talked about their website earlier, it's really hard to find their shipping, and it's really hard to get a good idea of what you're going to be charged. The reason for that is, number one, they offer a lot of different options. They offer rush shipping. Because they offer bulk ordering, that creates a lot more issues as well. So, down here, they kind of give you this table and they show you, depending on the weight, this is what your shipping cost is going to be. So if you look right here, We've got up to 3 t-shirts. It's going to be at $4.99, so it's not too bad. You know, if you could have up to 3 t-shirts in this 15.9. When we go up to hoodies, large to 3XL hoodies is going to be at $10.99. So I guess anything under that is going to be at $4.99. So I think, you know, if you're just looking at the basic cost of like a t-shirt or a hoodie, that's pretty good. You know, you're going to save $1, $2. But again, it can be a little bit confusing just to know the weights of different things in here, but that at least gives you a decent idea. And again, they're not just gonna, that's for their standard shipping, but they will also offer additional tiers of shipping or additional quickness of shipping. And so that will create additional cost if you go with those. So I would take a look at this, but it's going to be somewhat hard to get an idea because they just don't make it super easy to understand here. Custom Cat offers, again, a lot of options. They have economy, ground, 2-day, overnight, international, so a lot of different options for shipping. I will tell you right off the bat, you probably, in my opinion, you're probably either going to want to use the economy or the 2-day. I don't see a reason why you would want to use the ground. I'm sure there is a reason. And really, the overnight, I mean, you could use the overnight, but I think for most people, offering economy, which is going to be, you know, 3 to 5 days or so, maybe even quicker, and then 2 days is going to give them that little bit faster option. I don't know that you need all of the different shipping rates. So taking a look at economy, which is going to be kind of standard, probably USPS type shipping, $4.29 for the first product and 75 cents for the additional products. This is under the super lightweight category. So you actually have to go through, and I don't think it's on this page. You need to go through and you need to look at the product pricing because they'll categorize the products. You have lightweight here, which is going to be $5.29 and then $1.50 for additional products. These categories are going to be on their weight, right? So they've taken all of their pricing for their products, all of their weight for their products, and they've categorized them into these different categories, and that's going to kind of go up, you know, as you go up in weight. So you're going to want to look at the products and then kind of compare, and it's kind of difficult to know just looking at this where everything is really going to fall. The last two here, we've got gelato and gluten, and again, we don't have shipping prices available. Gluten is not offering those to the public because you need to be a member with them before you get those, and gelato is not, I can't find them here on gelato. I don't even see the shipping prices in, you know, European currency. They just don't show them at all from what I could find here on their website. Now I know you can find this information inside of their app once you get signed up with them, but I didn't see it here on their website. As far as crowning a print-on-demand king, I think there are a lot of different things to consider, and it really depends on your unique situation. If you're somebody who's just wanting a solid print-on-demand provider with a ton of print-on-demand products to choose from, you're probably going to want to go with something like Printful or Printify or one of these other kind of common options. If you're somebody who is wanting really fast shipping times, you know, SPOD advertises a 48-hour turnaround. So SPOD might be one to look at if you're wanting to just get those items out really quickly. Now, if you're wanting worldwide fulfillment, if you're somebody who's going to be selling all across the world, in my opinion, I would take a look at Gelato or Printful because they're both going to offer fulfillment centers in a lot of different countries, and that could be of huge benefit to you. If you're somebody who is solely concerned with pricing and margins because you want to maximize your margins, you're probably going to want to take a look at something like Printify or Custom Cat. So it really depends on your unique situation. Again, if you want a branded experience, if you want more branded items, take a look at AppLeak. There are a lot of good print-on-demand providers on this list, and they really specialize in different areas. And so do your own research depending on what your unique needs are. I think for me, the most important things would probably be pricing and product selection. I think those would be very important. And one of the most important things, which we did not cover in this video, is the quality. Now, I want to give you a couple resources if you would like to learn a little bit more about these print-on-demand companies. Now, here on our YouTube channel, we have done full in-depth reviews on each of these print-on-demand companies. Actually, 7 out of the 8 print-on-demand companies on this list, we have done a more in-depth review where we go even deeper on what they have to offer. So I will link those videos down in the description for you to take a look at those. And we actually unbox a t-shirt and look at their quality as well. And we've also put out a print-on-demand quality shootout where we took all these print-on-demand providers, we laid them all out on a table, and we compared the quality between them based off of what I received, and that would be a valuable video. We'll put a link to that at the end of this video and also down in the description. So good luck on your journey of picking a print-on-demand provider, and I hope that this video has been super helpful. Thank you so much for watching today, and if you're brand new to Shopify, you're getting your first store set up, you need some additional help installing print-on-demand, getting that set up, we have a free 13-step cheat sheet that you can download at shirtschool.com/cheatsheet. Just put in your email and then you can download a PDF which gives you 13 steps that will walk you through how to get your store set up on Shopify and ensure that you have everything done before you open it up to the public. So it's super helpful. We've had thousands of people download it. Just go over to shirtschool.com/cheatsheet, download that cheat sheet, and we'll see you next week.